10 Dirty Secrets No One Should Have Told You Before 30. Author: Vahid Zekavati. Copyright: VMZ Production. Introduction. Where do you think the problem lies? This constant confusion, this vague, heavy sense of lack that trails you like a shadow is what has stolen your life. No matter how hard you try or how much you know, something is always missing, and this pain is the most shared secret among all unawakened people, a deep, inexplicable void that cannot be filled by money, relationships, or qualifications. But the truth is something else, and you've felt it too. Something inside you screams that this is not the real life. That's why you are here. This is not a typical book. This is a shocking confession that will speak directly to the part of your soul that no one ever dared to touch. If you are ready to break those 10 stone keys that hold your destiny locked, then let the curtains fall. We have come to wake up. Part 1. Why am I never satisfied with my life? Have you asked yourself this question too? Have you stayed up for hours at night wondering, why me? Why is that simple happiness I saw in movies or felt in other people's hearts a distant mirage for me? Let me confess, the reason for this constant dissatisfaction is not necessarily an external lack. The problem lies in the unspoken pacts your soul unknowingly made with your fears. You think you are seeking peace, but you are actually chasing a hidden inner thrill that only comes from abandoning the need for external validation. We constantly live to impress others, while in the darkness we are ashamed of ourselves. If you don't decide today to be the main actor in your own life, this dissatisfaction will become the gravestone of your soul. You're constantly chewing on the past and building a future based solely on your past fears. This is the shared suffering of us all, living in an imaginary time that never arrives or never returns. In this very moment, you are alone, and you feel it. This solitude is not a weakness, but your greatest truth. It is only in this isolation that you can hear what is truly calling you. All your psychic energy has been spent suppressing this inner voice, and then you wonder why you lack the strength to initiate the smallest change. Liberation from this bondage begins when you accept full responsibility for this moment, not with a sense of guilt, but with a holy rage to reclaim your power. The bitter truth is that no one but you can save you, and you always knew it. Your brain is a survival machine, not a happiness machine. Always remember this. This system is designed to keep you in the same safe, painful zone because change equates to death for it. When you want to take a step forward, that inner critic's voice, which is actually the voice of your collective and familial fears, starts whispering, "You don't deserve it. It's too late. You're not different." Accept this jolt. This voice is not you. It is an old program you must disconnect from. The sense of lack you carry is the fuel for your change engine, but as long as you see it as a weakness, it will always hold you back. If you want to be satisfied, you must first accept that the world is never meant to complete you. Are you willing to see how you yourself are your greatest obstacle? Recall the famous story of the man who searched for water, who got lost in the desert while a deep well of water was beneath his feet, and he kept looking for a mirage. You are the same. All the answers are within you. All your external dissatisfactions are merely reflections of your inner void. We are constantly looking for a savior or a miraculous opportunity to rescue us from this pain, while the supernatural power of creation lies dormant in the deepest corner of our being. The suffering ends when, instead of lamenting, you take the power of this moment into your hands and take the first action. Prepare for the next shock. The biggest lie you ever believed is thinking you must be perfect to start. The only way to heal this lack is through taking action. Not a small action, but a bold, massive movement that will shock your timid and cautious brain. You are waiting for an external spark, but the light must be born from within you. This is the rebirth that all sufferers and truth-seekers have experienced. The final answer to the question of why you were not satisfied is this: because you have not yet started from the depth of your being to create that which you have hidden in the darkest corner of your soul. So starting today, instead of a question, begin with a confession. I know who I am and what I must do, and I am ending the victim game now. This is the beginning of your awakening, and we are ready to move to the second secret.
Part 2. Why do I always fall into the wrong relationships? Have you tasted the bitterness of abandonment too? In that moment, the world stopped, and you felt your entire being collapse. Let me tell you an unfiltered psychoanalytic truth. You unconsciously seek people who precisely recreate your childhood wounds or the same unresolved sense of lack. This is a hidden psychological game. You think you've fallen in love, but in reality, you're trying to finally complete that painful pattern on your own terms and win. But you lose every time. Because until you break this inner pattern, the external world will send the same actor onto the stage in a different costume. This trap is the dirty secret we are all caught in. We live in the illusion of being completed by another. You cling to that relationship because you think the other person is the missing half who will save you from your flaws. The main jolt is this: if you do not consider yourself whole, you can never have a healthy relationship. Instead, you enter an emergency rescue agreement. Eventually, both of you become exhausted because no one is responsible for filling another's emotional void. This truth is heavy and painful, but it is the only way to liberation. You must accept that you do not need a completer, but a mirror. Someone who accepts you with all your being, without judgment. But to attract that mirror, you must be your complete self. See how in every relationship, out of fear of being alone, you censor your true self? That mask you wear to gain approval or stay with someone is the great thief of your energy and authenticity. This confession belongs to all of us. We fear a deep, real connection because we are afraid that if the other person sees the real me, they will run away. And paradoxically, this very fear causes us to attract someone who will ultimately leave us. This is pure self-sabotage. The solution starts from one point: emotional self-sufficiency. You must learn to love your solitude and enjoy it. Only then will you stop being the actor in a ridiculous play out of fear of being alone. Empathize with yourself. You're looking for love, but you are confusing love with need. Need is like a swamp that drowns the other person, and love is like a breeze that gives wings to both. If you feel that without that person your life is paralyzed, that is not love. That is a sick dependency rooted in the unresolved holes of your childhood. Psychology books refer to this as an insecure attachment pattern. But simply put, you must accept the real pain of being alone and standing on your own 2 feet to build a healthy we. Until you accept this pain and run from it, no matter what relationship you enter, you will still, in fact, be alone. The solution is simple, yet shocking. Start building a life that you would still be satisfied with, even if no one else were in it. This power creates an attraction that brings healthy and whole people into your orbit. You will no longer need to pretend. In this section, you understood the secret of your relationship failures. You were looking for your lost parent in every relationship, but that search is over. Now is the time to be your own emotional mother and father. This is the start of a new journey toward conscious choice. Get ready, because the next secret goes directly to the biggest lie of your professional life.
Part 3. Why don't I achieve wealth, no matter how hard I try? The business world is a game, and you are constantly losing without knowing its hidden rules. You are hardworking, that is a fact, but have you ever asked yourself why, despite all this effort, the feeling of financial lack still doesn't leave you? Confess it. You unconsciously view money as something dirty or evil. Or deep down in your subconscious, you believe you are unworthy of great wealth. This limiting belief is an inheritance passed down to you from previous generations, a virus file in your mental system. Until you uproot this core belief, no matter how much money the external world gives you, you will lose it to return to that safe zone of lack. Accept this jolt. Poverty is not a choice. It is programming. Are you willing to let go of the familiar pain of having and losing? You secretly fear wealth because wealth forces you to grow up and take more responsibility. This is our shared pain, thinking that becoming rich, our friends or family will reject us, or the envy will start. So your subconscious mind keeps you poor to maintain your social security. Listen to this dirty secret. Money is just a tool. It is neither good nor bad. What needs to change is your relationship with money. You must see money as an energy you deserve to attract and manage, not a final goal for happiness. If money is the solution to all your problems, you will never reach it. Always remember, money seeks value, not time. You are constantly selling your time for money that is only enough to get by. But value? Value is what you can offer to the world without your physical presence. The big shock is this: you have not yet reached the belief that you can solve a massive problem and get a large amount of money in return. You are constantly doing small tasks. To break free from this trap, you must start today to design a big game. The sense of financial lack you have is your fuel for creating immense value that the world cannot ignore. You must become a high-level problem solver. You are constantly waiting for an opportunity, but opportunities are created from within you, not by coming from outside and knocking on your door. All your worries about money only waste energy and diminish your creativity. The solution is raise your sense of worthiness. This means demanding and striving for the best in all aspects of your life. When you wear the best clothes, eat the best food, and live the best way within your current means, your subconscious signals to the world that you are worthy of more. You must become the wealthy person before the money reaches you. This transformation is more important than effort. So the answer to why money is not coming to you is this: you are still depriving yourself of it from the depths of your being. This game must end. Now confess that you want to be wealthy and in return create value for it. Not for buying luxury items, but for the freedom it gives you to create a life worth living. The final solution is become irreplaceable in your work. When you become irreplaceable, you set the price, not the market. Now that you understand the secret of psychological poverty, prepare to face the biggest thief of time, procrastination.
Part 4. Why can't I have discipline and focus? Let me talk to you directly. You are not procrastinating. You are running away from yourself. This is the shared pain, that nagging voice in your head that says, "Now is not the time," "Tomorrow is better," or "I need to rest a bit." The shocking jolt is this: procrastination is not necessarily due to laziness. It is a defense mechanism that your mind has created to protect against the fear of success or the fear of massive failure. You are afraid that if you give it your all and fail, you will have no more excuses left. And on the other hand, you are afraid that if you succeed, your life will change so much that you won't recognize yourself anymore. Did you feel this? That moment when you are about to do your most important task and suddenly 1,000 other useless tasks become more important? This is not just simple distraction. This is conscious self-sabotage. You are spending your energy on trivial tasks so you don't have to face the main challenge. The way out of this swamp is you must confront this fear and tell yourself, "I am willing to fail, but I am not willing to not try." Discipline and focus are the result of choosing the pain. The pain of discipline is short and its result is sweet, while the pain of indiscipline is long and its result is bitter. But the mind unconsciously prefers the long familiar pain to the short unknown pain. Remember the story of Sisyphus, who was condemned to constantly push a stone up a hill only for it to roll back down. You are also constantly pushing the same stone in your life, the stone of shoulds and procrastinations. The solution is not simple, but it is clear. You must turn the goal into the smallest possible action. If you are going to write a book, instead of thinking about the whole thing, just think about writing one sentence. This technique bypasses your timid and resistant brain. You must get used to confronting your deepest inner resistance for just 5 minutes every day, even, and taking a small step. This small act starts a great chain of change. You do not need motivation, you need initiating action. See how the external disorder of your life is a reflection of your internal disorder. If you can't clean your desk, how do you expect your mind to be organized? This is a shocking confession. You must ask yourself, what does this disorder mean to me? Disorder is actually a signal that says, I have no control over my life. To regain control, you must start creating small, non-negotiable rules. For example, make your bed every morning. This small, trivial act hands the command over to the part of your being that desires discipline. Discipline is the greatest supporter of your freedom. Accept this. The answer is this: discipline and focus begin with a small daily commitment, not a grand revolution. From today, stop blaming yourself for procrastinating. Instead, ask yourself, what is my hidden fear of this task, and negotiate with that fear. You must empathize with your inner self that fears change and then force it to act. This is the conscious darkness plus spark of awakening. You are no longer a plaything of your fears. Now that you've learned how to act, it's time to know which path to act on. What is your true purpose?
Part 5. How do I discover my true purpose and mission in life? Let me say it bluntly. Purpose is not something you must find, but something you must create. You have spent your whole life searching for a ready-made treasure map and constantly telling yourself, when I find my purpose, I'll start. This is the biggest lie the lazy mind has built to postpone your life. Your true mission is, in fact, to solve a shared pain that you have previously experienced deeply yourself. The suffering you run from is actually your roadmap. Confess, you know where you can make a small difference, but you fear the magnitude of the responsibility. See how all your life goals are based on external validation? You want to become a doctor, engineer, or artist because those titles are respected in society. But when you are alone, does your soul dance with those titles? The main shock is this: if the whole world admires you, but you don't love what you do, you will still feel empty. The solution is at the intersection of pain. You must reach the intersection of three things. 1. What you have a natural talent for. 2. What the world needs and is willing to pay for. 3. What doing makes you feel alive even without money. Your mission is born at this point of convergence. Are you willing to let go of your current job? I don't mean physically quitting, but letting go of your identity with that job. You cling to that work because it gives you a false sense of security. But deep inside, you know you were built for bigger things. Empathize with this fear. Letting go of security is scary, but this fear is the price of your freedom. You must ask yourself, if I knew I couldn't fail, what would I do with all my being? This question unlocks the fear. Purpose is something that forces you to act even when you lack motivation. You must abandon the idealism of the goal and start moving. Remember the story of the sculptor who was asked, "How did you create this beautiful statue?" He replied, "I didn't create it. I just removed all the extra material and stones around it." Your mission is the same. You don't need to add anything to yourself. You just need to chip away all the shoulds and roles that the world has placed on your shoulders. This process of stripping away is painful because it forces you to face the truth of your being. Every paragraph in this book is a hammer blow on those extra layers. The only way to find your mission is to do small and diverse things until one thing pulls you toward it with all its might. You must have a purposeful life instead of purposeful thinking. You can no longer hide. The answer to what your purpose is this: your purpose is to grow. Your purpose is to become the fullest version of yourself. Your secondary missions are the tools that lead you to this greater goal. So, from today, instead of asking, start offering what springs forth from within you, even if it is incomplete and small. This act of offering will light your next way. You understood the secret of purpose. Purpose is not a destination. It is a way of living. And now that you know the path, you must confront the biggest thief of peace on this journey: constant worry and stress.
Part 6. Why am I always in a state of constant worry and stress? Stress is your mind's addiction to a future that does not exist. Accept this. You think that by worrying, you are controlling, when the exact opposite is true. Worry is the biggest sign of lack of control. This pain is rooted in the deep fear that you don't trust your ability to solve future problems. Empathize with yourself. You are constantly building catastrophic scenarios so that when something bad happens, you can tell yourself, "I knew it," and the feeling of not being surprised gives you a false sense of security. This self-deception is your biggest energy thief. See how your brain has created a mental hamster wheel that you constantly run on. These repetitive negative thoughts are not necessarily the truth. They are just noise. You give them power by listening to them. The psychoanalytic jolt is this: anxiety is actually a hidden invitation from your body to bring you back to the present moment. You are either regretting the past or fearing the future. In neither of these times does stress exist. Stress only lives in the gap between what is and what you think should be. To escape this prison, you must learn to hear the noise of your mind without judgment, but not act on it. You must accept a golden rule. Either do something to solve the problem, or don't worry about it. No third state is acceptable. Remember the famous story of the Buddhist who wasn't worried? When asked, "What would you do if your house caught fire?" he replied, "I would put out the fire. And if I couldn't, I would build a new house. Worrying doesn't help." This decisiveness is what you are running from. To reduce stress, you must widen the gap between the stimulus and your reaction. This gap is your field of action. You must choose to respond instead of reacting. This action restores your power. You are in a hidden game. You use anxiety as a badge of honor. That is, by worrying, you prove to yourself and others that you are a responsible person. This is a sweet lie. Your worry has no effect on the outcome. To be free, you must learn to let go of yourself. This means stopping the control of things that are outside your sphere of influence. The practical solution is spend 10 minutes every day writing down all your worries. Transfer them from your mind outward. Then tear up the paper and return to life. By doing this, you tell your brain your time is up. So the answer is that you have been hiding your inaction behind a curtain of worry for too long. Stress has been an excuse for not taking action. From today, free yourself from this mental compulsion. Whenever you feel anxious, immediately take a small, decisive action. Shock your brain with action. You have the power to consciously return your attention to the present moment. This is the start of freedom from the vicious cycle of stress. Now that you are calmer internally, you must face your biggest external obstacle, people's words and judgments.
Part 7. How can I stop people's words and judgments? Let me accept this confession. You cannot stop people's words and judgments. This is a solid, undeniable truth. Your attempt to control the thoughts of others is your biggest waste of energy and suffering. You live in an invisible prison whose key is in your own hand, the fear of not being validated. This shared pain is what forces us to wear a mask to look good. This game of pretense has distanced you from your true self. The psychoanalytic jolt is this: the person who judges you is actually projecting their own unresolved flaws and regrets onto you. Their judgment has nothing to do with you. Are you willing to accept the bitter truth that you are not enough for everyone? You can never please everyone. This is a mathematical reality that you refuse to accept. That's why you are constantly changing shape and color to be acceptable in everyone's eyes. But this only makes you a nobody. To break free from this trap, you must tell that judgmental voice within you, which is the collective voice, that its time is up. You must set your boundaries and state decisively, "This is who I am, and this is what I do, even if you don't like it." This act is pure courage. You must remember that everyone who judges you is themselves trapped in a circle of fear and dissatisfaction. Happy people busy creating don't have time to judge. This is the conscious darkness. When you understand this, you no longer fear their judgment, but feel pity for them. The practical and shocking solution is, be your own judge. Before others judge you, judge and accept yourself completely. Yes, I am flawed. Yes, I make mistakes. And yes, I still want to move forward. When you internalize this confession, external words lose their power. Remember the famous philosopher who said, "Other people's opinions are their wallets, not yours." You were constantly depositing people's opinions into the bank account of your identity, and then you wonder why you become bankrupt. To be free, You must start creating something that will be criticized. Welcome criticism with open arms. This is the most powerful exercise for killing the need to be validated. You must reach a point where you say, "I know the value of my work, now you can say whatever you want." This decisiveness makes you impervious to the poisonous arrows of others. The final answer to this question is you cannot stop judgment, but you can destroy its importance. From today, whenever you are afraid, tell yourself, "I'll do my work and the result is none of their business." In this section, you should have reclaimed your freedom from the perspective of others. Now that you've learned how to be free externally, it's time to address your biggest internal obstacle, self-sabotage.
Part 8. What is my biggest obstacle to true happiness? Your biggest obstacle to true happiness is yourself. This is a painful shock that you must accept. You unconsciously deprive yourself of happiness because deep within your subconscious, you believe you are unworthy of it. This is rooted in hidden guilt or old wounds that have never been healed. You think you must be punished. That's why when you get close to success, you suddenly make a stupid decision and ruin everything. This is conscious self-sabotage. Empathize with yourself. This is a psychological game you play to escape the feeling of guilt. See how you are constantly drawn to experiences you know are harmful to you? This is not due to a lack of intellect, but to an unconscious need to harm yourself. You must speak to this part of your being that desires harm. Ask, "What are you telling me? What is the root of this punishment?" This is the individual spiritual journey that you must begin. Until you recognize and reconcile with this inner punishing voice, it will constantly steer your life down dangerous paths. The solution lies in the complete acceptance of past flaws and mistakes, not their denial. You must turn your past into a lesson, not a whip. You must make a brave confession, "I forgive myself." This sentence has power beyond words. You are constantly punishing yourself, and this is the biggest thief of happiness. Do you know why you cannot enjoy the small joys of life? Because your inner voice constantly whispers, "You owe this joy." To break this pattern, you must start consciously choosing pleasure. Every day, do something you know you enjoy just because you have the right to be happy. This action rewires your brain to believe that happiness is your right. The big shock is this: happiness is a skill, not an accident. You must strive for it every day. You must learn to be happy right now, not when you have reached all your goals. Because if you are not happy today, you won't be happy tomorrow either. Self-sabotage disappears when you replace criticism with compassion. Remember the psychological story of the inner child who is hurt and needs your attention. You must embrace that wounded inner child and tell him, "I am here, and I will no longer allow anyone to hurt you, not even myself." This act is the beginning of healing. The final answer is, you deprive yourself of happiness because you still refuse to forgive yourself. This book wants to give you a jolt that you are enough. You deserve all the good things in the world, and no one can take that away from you. From today, confront every act of self-sabotage and instead perform a kind act toward yourself. This action breaks the chain. Now that you've learned how to love yourself, you must unlock the final psychological lock, the past.
Part 9. How can I finally let go of the past? Let this unvarnished truth be heard. The past is just a story that you rewrite every day. This is a shocking confession. Those events are over, but you cling to your victim identity because letting go of it is terrifying for you. You think the past has made you, but the psychoanalytic jolt is this: if you let go of those sufferings, you must create a new identity for yourself, and this is one of the scariest things for the mind. Empathize with yourself. The pain of the past gives you a familiar and painful security, but this security has come at the cost of completely stopping your growth. You constantly chew on memories and repeat the same old feeling every time. This repetition not only doesn't help, but strengthens the neural pathways of pain in your brain. The solution lies in a decisive action, rewriting the story. You cannot change the reality of the past, but you can change its meaning. From today, look at that painful event and ask, what lesson did this suffering teach me? You must turn it into a power. Your past story shouldn't be the story of what happened to me, but the story of how I came out stronger from this event. This shift immediately releases your psychic energy. You must accept the pain of becoming. This path will not be easy. You will constantly be tempted to return to that safe, dark zone. But you must remember that the ultimate goal is not just external success, but inner peace derived from authenticity. This peace is achieved when your words, thoughts, and actions are all moving in the same direction. This is existential coherence. So from now on, with every decision you make, ask yourself, does this decision lead me toward my authentic self, or does it pull me toward my masked self? This is your new compass. Remember the story of the Buddha who said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. The only one who gets burned is you. The main shock is this: you must step down from the victim role. This role gives you the power to blame the past for your current shortcomings. But if you step out of this role, you must accept full responsibility for your life. This heaviness is what has kept you clinging to the past. To be free, you must declare with a holy rage, "My past is over, and it no longer commands me." The final answer is, the past will let go of you when you choose to let go of it. You are no longer living in that time. From today, separate yourself from that old story and focus on the present moment. You have the power to create a fresh start for yourself every day. You understood the secret to freedom from the past. The past is only there to show you how strong you have become. Now that we have revealed all these dirty secrets, we must see the final section. After all this awakening, what exactly should I do?
Part 10. What exactly should I do after all this awakening? You must take massive action. Internal awakening without external action is merely mental entertainment. This is an undeniable truth. If you understood all these 9 secrets but returned to your old life, all the suffering in this book and all these confessions have been wasted. You no longer have the right to stop with the excuse of ignorance. Now that you know all the psychological games, you must enter the field of action with a sacred commitment to yourself. This is the rebirth. You must act as if there is no turning back, and you have burned all the bridges behind you. The solution is simple, but shocking. Every day, do one decisive and important thing. One thing you know will push you out of your comfort zone. This could be a difficult conversation, starting a business, or quitting a bad habit. This act sends a strong signal to your subconscious. I am the commander, not my fears. You should not wait for motivation. Motivation is the product of action, not its cause. Start acting and motivation will follow you naturally. This is the path all successful people have taken. They did not act based on feeling, but based on commitment. You must create a system of accountability for yourself. This means you should no longer work in the dark. Find someone to report to every week, or announce your commitments publicly. This puts positive pressure on you to act as the awakened person you are. The main jolt is this: you must stop being the good person and become the decisive person.
A decisive person is neither necessarily kind nor necessarily harsh. They simply act on their commitments and maintain their boundaries with respect but without hesitation. And this is the most important paragraph. You must accept the pain of becoming. This path will not be easy. You will constantly be tempted to return to that safe, dark zone. But you must remember that the ultimate goal is not just external success, but inner peace derived from authenticity. This peace is achieved when your words, thoughts, and actions are all moving in the same direction. This is existential coherence. So from now on, with every decision you make, ask yourself, does this decision lead me toward my authentic self, or does it pull me toward my masked self? This is your new compass. So the final answer is, you must start living from now on, not reacting. You know all the tools and the dirty hidden secrets. Now, your responsibility is to build a brilliant life from this knowledge. Remember that we started with a short introduction, and now we have reached a great beginning. This book is finished, but your awakening has just begun. Step forward with courage. You are no longer alone.
10 dirty secrets no one should have told you before 30. Author, Vahid Zekavati. Copyright, VMZ Production. Introduction. Where do you think the problem lies? This constant confusion, this vague, heavy sense of lack that trails you like a shadow, is what has stolen your life. No matter how hard you try or how much you know, something is always missing, and this pain is the most shared secret among all unawakened people, a deep, inexplicable void that cannot be filled by money, relationships, or qualifications. But the truth is something else, and you've felt it too. Something inside you screams that this is not the real life. That's why you are here. This is not a typical book. This is a shocking confession that will speak directly to the part of your soul that no one ever dared to touch. If you are ready to break those 10 stone keys that hold your destiny locked, then let the curtains fall. We have come to wake up. Now it is your turn to live this awakening with all your being.